Hello, this is Chapter 4 of Advanced Formal Logic. This chapter will deal with the indirect reduction of syllogisms. Chapter 3 dealt with direct reductions. Now we're going to start to talk about indirect reductions. In the last chapter, we were able to take most of the moods from the second, third, and fourth figures and turn them into first figure reductions. We did that because it's often easier to tell if a syllogism is valid by seeing it in the first figure. The problem is there are two moods where this will not work, where instead of direct reduction, we have to use something called the indirect reduction, and that's Barocco and Boccardo. So you might remember from last time, there are the four ways of doing reductions, S, P, M, and C. There's a simple conversion, partial conversion, mutatio, and contradiction. Contradiction is the one that we didn't talk about. That's the C. And contradiction is how we do indirect reduction. You'll notice that's the consonant that's in both of Barocco and Boccardo, because we need to do indirect reduction for these moods. We need to use contradictions. So reduction by contradiction is we call it indirect because it doesn't actually reduce the syllogism to the first figure. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to prove the syllogism is valid by using a first figure syllogism. It's indirect. You might remember from before that in a valid syllogism, if the conclusion is false, then at least one of the premises must be false. So, in order to show that one of these syllogisms is valid, we're going to make the conclusion false. In other words, what's going to happen is we're going to show the syllogism to be valid by proving it cannot be invalid. We're not going to do any of that today, so for next time you should just read through the chapter, especially read the section that we dealt with today on pages 29 to 30, and you should do the exercises for day 1 in Moodle.